What are we talking about when we talk about conservatorship?
Okay, well, we're talking about a court order that allows you to make, the conservator, to make decisions for me and about me if I don't have capacity to make some decisions or all decisions. So, and you can have a conservatorship over the person, which allows you to make decisions about the care, custody, and control of my person, or a conservatorship over the estate, which allows you to make decisions about financial issues and manage my assets.
Okay.
Now, with limited conservatorships, which are the type of conservatorships available for people with intellectual disorders, it is very unusual to need a conservatorship over the estate, because most of the clients that we see receive SSI benefits or some form of government benefits, and the parents or the caregivers can apply to become representative payees, and most of those people that are already receiving some form of government benefits will be very familiar with that, especially if their child is under 18. They will know that they need to be listed on the benefit. So it would say Jane Smith as representative payee for John Smith. And that allows people to make most financial decisions for someone that's only source of income once they turn 18 is government benefits.
Okay.
So there rarely is a need for a conservatorship of the estate.
Okay.
So mostly we're talking about conservatorships of the person. And with a limited conservatorship, there's the opportunity to have 1 or 7 powers, limited powers. And one is the power to make medical decisions, and that is to both accept and decline medical treatment, which is really important for people with intellectual disorders. Oftentimes, all the medical treatments available may not be appropriate for your loved one. So it's very important to have the ability to say, no, thank you, I'm going to decline this medical treatment, and not feel like I'm doing the wrong thing for my loved one.
Right.
There is the right to access confidential records. So with our HIPAA privacy laws and all of our laws relating to once you're 18, all of your records are private, your private papers. This gives the conservator the right to send records or receive records or to have records in confidential papers. The third is the right to make decisions about education. And now we know with persons with intellectual disabilities can go to high school until they're 22. So if they're 18, there's another 4 years of schooling. And somebody needs to have the ability to make those decisions about where they go to school, what kind of education they receive, if they then go on to college or job training or some other form of educational training. Then somebody needs to make the decisions about what that should look like if the conservatee, the person over whom you're making decisions, doesn't have that capacity. Then there's the right to, which is unique to limited conservatorships of the person. Again, we talked about how there's rarely an estate in a limited conservatorship. There's the right to contract. So that allows the conservator to enter into contracts for the conservatee. It also allows you, if you have that power, if somebody has been duped into, we have a lot of people, we had one client who had bought 2 cars. He didn't have a driver's license, but somebody took him down and signed him up. Because you have a very attractive population to take advantage of. You have somebody with a social security number, generally a monthly income, and no debt of any kind usually. So they're really ripe for being taken advantage of.
And when you have that inability to make a contract, then it's just like if they were 14. If your 14-year-old buys a car, you get to go back and say, sorry, you can't make a contract, give us back the money.
Which is a lot easier to say that, the contract was never valid than to say, well,
you took advantage.
So it's just, it's much easier.
Okay.
There is the right to make medical decisions. I think I covered that.
Yes.
Contract, education, residence to decide, determine where somebody's going to live. Now we know that a lot of proposed conservatees have been living at home with their families. But, we also know that this landscape is changing and that young adults want to live independently as possible. And there's a lot of exciting things on the horizon, mostly created by advocates like you who see a need and see, where is my child going to live? What kind of community is best for them? Mm-hmm. And so there's this exciting ability, probably not enough yet, not enough housing choices and options, but that would allow you as the parent to, to sign a lease for somebody, to help them move in independently, to choose where they're going to live. Finally, the two most controversial powers are the right to control somebody's right to marriage, mm-hmm. Which is very controversial, and I think most of the families, I would say 99% of the families that I have spoken to, would like nothing better than for their loved one to marry and to have an independent life. So that's a very debated power, whether that sort of overreaches. Again, we've had issues with scams or people, being, again, it becomes very sensitive for families. Right. But I think mostly, again, it's a right because marriage is considered a contract. So, yes. They want to be sure that somebody has the capacity to fully understand. Although most families, as I said, would like nothing better. Right. The final power is the right to limit someone's social and sexual interactions, which is, again, a very, very hotly contested and debated power. And also, probably the most difficult, if you have that power, to really enforce. Yeah. You can't really follow your child all the time. You're trying to promote as much independence as possible. But if there has been issues of abuse, we know that with this community, the incidence of sexual abuse is staggering for both men and women. So, while it's terrible to take away somebody's social and sexual rights. I mean, it's a fundamental right, and but there are instances where it is appropriate. Somebody that has been taken advantage of is very susceptible or has behaviors that might lead them to be abused.